A tribute from a mythical club for an icon who is just as much an icon. But Olympique de Marseille is not the only ones to mourn Pape Diouf. The whole of Africa and the whole of football mourns the passing of an exceptional man who was taken away last Tuesday by COVID-19. A great loss for all those who are fighting for more justice and against racism in football. A fight that earned him the respect of his peers and the admiration of an entire continent. Pape left on tiptoe without warning, and unfortunate for this virus that condemns us to shed tears and see him leave without offering him a farewell worthy of his rank. But it will remain forever in our hearts. Thank you for everything. Farewell, Pape. Dear viewers, it is with a bit of sadness that I stand before you today for this new edition of Football Planet, your football news program on Africanews. It is a shorter program than usual due to the COVID-19 restrictions. Thank you for your loyalty. Now, the headlines. The world of football, Africa in particular, is still mourning him. Pape Diouf has left a great void in the hearts of football lovers. A multi-dimensional man, a fervent defender of the continent. The former president of Olympique de Marseille left his mark on history before being swept away on 1st March 2020 by COVID-19 in Dakar, Senegal. The more time passes, the more anxiety grows. Is the future of football compromised by this COVID-19 pandemic? The only thing we know for sure is that we're living in a total uncertainty, but the players have decided to fight, starting with the parent body FIFA, whose president Gianni Infantino is reassuring and calling for a united front to prevent the collapse of the sports. This is an outcome that is feared by the leaders of European football. The Champions League and the European League may not go all the way. For the first time, UEFA is considering a blank year because of coronavirus. European football boss Alexander Seferin has already set a deadline beyond which it could no longer be possible to continue the season. We'll go into more detail in a few minutes.
Bienvenue dans Football Planet.
Welcome to Football Planet. His name is forever inscribed in gold letters in the annals of world football as the first and so far the only black leader of an elite European club. Pape Diouf leaves behind a flood of tears and regrets. The former president of Olympique de Marseille, who was swept away by COVID-19 on 31st March 2020, will have left his mark on the history of football as never before has an African leader done so. And the testimony after his death in Dakar speaks volume about the dimension of the man he was.
Tributes have continued to pour in from around the world for renowned Senegalese footballing icon Pape Diouf, who died last week from coronavirus. Diouf, a pioneer in several footballing feats for Senegal, was the first African journalist in charge of a sports column in Europe, and then the first black agent for African players, then the first black sports manager of a major European club, and first black president of an elite European club, Olympique de Marseille. Pape Diouf, realizing this himself in an interview in 2005, noted how rare this was as the only black club president in Europe. Diouf left an indelible mark in the annals of footballing history in Africa. He was revered for his status as a leader, but also respected for his positions when it came to defending African footballers. Ghana's Abedi Ayew Pele is one of the players he helps to professionalize. And for Pele, the most disappointing and difficult moment is that because of this virus, many cannot say goodbye to Diouf. For many of the continent's football greats, Diouf was a guide for his contemporaries and undoubtedly a reference for future generations.
So a huge man has gone, a great loss for football and for the African continent, and for which Pape Diouf was a fervent defender, but his work will remain eternal. I told you in the headline, football is going through very difficult times and there is growing concern about this sport whose future seems more than ever to be in jeopardy. In any case, for many, including FIFA, football will not be the same after this COVID-19 crisis. Amidst predictions that illustrate the uncertainty caused by this crisis, which has brought almost all competitions to a halt. However, FIFA President Gianni Infantino wants to be reassuring there are enough resources to avoid the worst. Is a story by Nga and Ignatius Anno.
FIFA is positive that its economic strength can cope with the coronavirus pandemic. International matches the world over have been affected, with technical officials out of jobs for now. Thanks to the good work we've done in the last 4 years, FIFA is today in a very solid economic position. In addition, FIFA's name represents in the international market's credibility, something that was not possible to say a few years ago. FIFA President Gianni Infantino said the football governing body is working to ascertain the football landscape once the pandemic is over. Secondly, it's about the legal framework regarding the players' contracts and to protect the clubs, and how we can help to solve this problem regarding the contracts and the transfer windows. Several clubs in La Liga, Ligue 1 and Bundesliga are introducing pay cuts to help clubs cope with the lack of income. Atletico Madrid players accepted to reduce 70% of their salary during the crisis.
And many other clubs have also opted for the solution of reducing salaries to soften the blow of the crisis after CAF, which has also forced UEFA to review its season calendar. The European body notably postponed the Champions League and the European League, which, according to its president, must be finished on August 3rd. And for the first time, Alexander Seferin has raised the idea of cancelling the season. We have several plans to take over C1 or C3 in May, June, July, he explained. There's also a possibility that we won't play again. If the authorities don't allow it, we won't play again. We depend on the government of each country, but in September, October, it's no longer possible, the European Football Board said in an interview with German TV station ZDF on Saturday. So far, only Belgium seems to have found a solution. The board directors of the National League recommends the end of the National Championship and the maintenance of the current ranking, which should crown the current leader, Club Brugge, a decision which must be validated on April 15 at the General Assembly.
Le 15 avril prochain en Assemblée générale.
And then you should know that in other championships, we always hope to finish the season, and the clubs are already preparing for it. In Germany, for example, Borussia Dortmund resumed training last week. Bayern Munich were due to follow suit on Monday, and in Italy too, training could soon resume for some clubs. We find out more in the coming days.
On en saura un peu plus dans les jours qui viennent.
Elsewhere, containment mode is still the order of the day, an opportunity for some players to talk about something other than football. The finest captain, Riyad Mahrez, better known for his spell-binding dribbling skill, was one of such players. And yet there are many other facets to the game, even if it is less sparkling than the ball. And he also revealed his ritual before each match. Take a look.
I always put everything right. First dress, then I go have a massage for 10-15 minutes. I do my haircut. I go in the shower, I do my haircut. Then I drink few things like energy drinks, and then I go to warm up. Well, I can dance a little bit, yeah, but it's not my good thing. Yeah. I'm a competitor, you know, I play every game. Table tennis, everything I can play, and I play and I try to always win, yeah.
Yes, the footballer and his mysteries. A short piece of information before we leave. With the probable departure of John Mikel Obi to the Brazilian Championship, the Nigerian midfielder has reportedly been approached by Botafogo, according to Brazilian media. However, negotiations between the former Super Eagles captain and the Brazilian club have not progressed much due to the COVID-19 pandemic that precipitated the 32-year-old departure from Trabzonspor in Turkey. And that is the end of the show, but the news continues on Africanews and Africanews.com. Have a great week, and don't forget the barrier gestures against coronavirus, and stay home if you don't have anything essential to do outside. I leave you with these images of Prodigy and Sufati currently in confinement. See you soon.